since we're talking about murderous rhetoric, political murderous rhetoric, did you see this from Megyn Kelly? She was upset because she's talking about Kara Swisher, who's a political commentator and knows a lot of what she's talking about, an analyst. She says this is sick, all capitals on the sick. She's trying to get Stephen Miller killed. Why else would you say he's Himmler? Deranged and so far beyond the pale, we can't become immune to it.
And I would last like to call out Stephen Miller, who is in the center of this. We always focus on Trump, as we often focus on the top people. But Stephen Miller, like a man named Ben Detson, he was the one who created the internment camps for Japanese. Heinrich Himmler in the Nazi regime. This is what he is. And he, of course, Trump gets the most of the blame being at the top. But people like Stephen Miller, will go down in history as evil, had blood on his hands, and should be jailed at the very end of this. And you're absolutely right.
I wonder what kind of rhetoric she assumes Kara Swisher, which I'm sure tons of people have never heard of, versus the president of the United States, who continues this drumbeat of wanting to murder his political enemies. I wonder if Megyn Kelly has had any posts about Donald Trump trying to get Ilhan Omar killed, that is up to the point when someone attacked her. Which part of that do you think Megyn Kelly thinks is some kind of catalyst to get Stephen Miller killed? Comparing him to Heinrich Himmler? Maybe comparing him to historical figures who've literally done the exact same thing that this fascist Nazi American regime is doing right now. Like it's direct. We can see all of it. So at some point, Megyn Kelly thinks that we have to get off of this narrative of comparing current political figures to previous current political figures who are doing the exact same thing. It's odd. Maybe she should start with J.D. Vance, who called Donald Trump America's Hitler. Oddly enough, this wasn't something that someone who hates the Megyn Kelly show posted. Her show herself posted this. I mean, since we're talking about people being murdered.
I know I'm supposed to feel sorry for Alex Preddy, but I don't. I don't. Do you know why I wasn't shot by Border Patrol this weekend? Because I kept my ass inside and out of their operations. It's very simple. If I felt strongly enough about something the government was doing that I would go out and protest, I would do it peacefully on the sidewalk without interfering, via a whistle, via shouting, via my body, via any other way. I would make my objections known by standing there without interfering, because interfering is where you go south. And laying hands on a police officer trying to, or Border Patrol officer or ICE officer trying to conduct a law enforcement operation is a felony. And now you are going to get arrested. And if you do anything that resembles resisting, you're in serious trouble.
The reason she thinks she's supposed to feel sorry for Alex Preddy, and therefore she doesn't, is because she's trying to promote herself as being, one of the worst people in the country, because that's how you get closer to actually the worst person in the country, is you say things like that and then post it literally as if this is a promotional video about where you stand. This is supposed to be something that she posts to promote her show. And it's obvious to promote some kind of hate watching, because that's what every comment was talking about, how much they hate her. But this is the other thing. In case you think, Megyn Kelly just doesn't like anybody who shows up at protests with guns. I'm not sure if you guys remember her talking about Kyle Rittenhouse and how he oddly showed up at a protest, with a gun. And instead of what Alex Preddy did, got murdered, he murdered. It's weird. It's like the other way around.
Reese Witherspoon, after Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted. Guarantee you this woman did not watch 1 minute of that trial. No one should be able to purchase a semi-automatic weapon, cross state lines, and kill 2 people, wound another, and go free. In what world is this safe for any of us? Reese Witherspoon, with undoubtedly her security guards in her mansions and her gates, yet another elite, rich woman who has no clue why someone might actually buy a semi-automatic weapon and feel the need to protect others.
You think that makes any sense? She's condoning Kyle Rittenhouse crossing state lines with his rifles and going and killing people, but because Reese Witherspoon is rich. Do you guys remember the size of a settlement or the rest of her contract that she got after she was fired from NBC for being a racist on air too? Do you guys remember that? It's almost like Megyn Kelly is also rich, probably has private security, and then goes around and talks as if she's some kind of connection to the common man. It's weird how it works. The only common man that Megyn Kelly apparently relates to is the common man that is a MAGA common man. And, they do weird things like, they traffic young girls and children. And Megyn Kelly is always there to cape for them.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10, I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. Look, you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. It's just whatever.
That's who Megyn Kelly protects. That's who Megyn Kelly relates to. That's the audience that Megyn Kelly's trying to cultivate by promoting things that she promotes from her channel. But she's concerned about Stephen Miller potentially being killed because someone compared him to Nazis. I just want to document this stuff. It doesn't mean you have to have any big time arguments and convincing arguments that you're supposed to be giving to folks before they figure out what reality is. They know what reality is. Megyn Kelly knows everything that she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. She knows what her objective is. Her objective is to be, at the feet of the throne of Donald Trump and to make sure that she gets the crustiest of his big toes, because apparently they like bowing down to dictators. That's what this whole party is about. And if you don't, you get the hell out. You get the hell out. Because remember, she was in opposition with Donald Trump before he started talking about her bleeding from anywhere and everywhere.
She gets out and she starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions. And, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
Yeah, I think everyone remembers that part. She's sat herself in line now. And she's protecting Stephen Miller.